Hi everybody, welcome to this yoga video for calm and cozy reset. Today I have a nice warm cup of tea and I'll also use a couple of essential oils throughout the practice. If you have access to oils or a candle or scent that you really enjoy, you're welcome to bring that to your practice today. So just make sure you're in something comfortable. If you have a blanket, bring that as well. And we'll go ahead and get started. So to begin, I will welcome you to come into child's pose. If that's not a comfortable, cozy pose for you, you're welcome to come into any other position that you would like. And you're going to hear these feet rustling as my dog moves around. If you do enjoy child's pose, you're welcome to come into your classic or come into an extended pose, bringing the big toes together, knees about as wide as your yoga mat, wider than hip distance apart if you're on something other than a mat today. And then we'll just start to walk our hands forward, resting our forehead towards the ground. As you start to get settled in, just begin to notice your breath. Maybe you feel the spine growing. You can walk the fingers out a bit further. And as you're ready, just allow your breath to deepen and slow down slightly. Any intuitive movement that you'd like to welcome, maybe it's a sway of the hips or some wrist rolls, or maybe you'd like to sway your forehead back and forth on the ground, kind of releasing the tension in the forehead. Just allow your heart to soften, slowly making its way closer to the ground as you sink into this pose for a few more moments. And then we'll slowly walk both hands towards the left side. Finding what feels good for you. We'll begin to stretch, opening up that right side body. Once you walk the hands over, you can rest your forehead back down onto the mat. Take one more nice slow deep breath here, feeling the belly expand along the thigh. And then walk the hands through center, over to the right side. We'll do the same thing, stretching out the left side body this time. Relaxing the forehead back towards your mat. One more deep breath here. And then walk your hands back to center. Rest in that child's pose for one more moment here. Notice the length of the spine and the torso has expanded. You can have more space to breathe and more space to soften a little bit deeper. And then when you're ready, walking the hands back up towards the knees. If the knees were out wide, you can bring them together. If sitting back on your heels like this isn't comfortable, come into any other seated position that's comfy for you. Maybe a cross-legged, legs extended. And from here, we'll just place either hands on the heart, the belly, or one on each. Maybe soften the gaze, look down, or if it's comfortable, you can even close down the eyes. And feel your breath here. Inhaling, the hands will rise as you fill the body with air. And exhaling, they fall as you soften and release that air back out. See if the shoulders can soften a bit away from the ears. If you can release any tension in the jaw or the forehead here. Maybe you can reach the crown of the head a bit taller. Any natural sound as you exhale out through the mouth, such as a sigh, just let it release. Three more slow, deep breaths here. And then bringing the hands to the shoulders, fingertips resting gently. We'll start to bring the elbows towards one another. They might meet, they might not. And we'll inhale to lift the elbows up. Exhale to send them back and down. Inhale, bring them in together and up. Exhaling back and down. Three more with your breath. Rotating through the shoulders, opening up through the chest. Keep those inhales and exhales deep and slow. On that last one, we'll meet at the bottom and reverse the direction. Inhaling back and up. Exhaling down and close. Let's go 4. 2 more. Closing down the eyes whenever you would like here. And on that last one, maybe you shake it out. Release the arms back down for a moment. And we'll interlace our fingers. And with the wrist, start to make a figure 8 or infinity sign. Maybe getting some little cracks and pops here. And then take it the other way. It might feel a little funky. Just see what you can do, warming up those wrists. Nice. And then from here, we're going to press the palms forward, keep the fingers interlaced for now. Let those shoulders settle down. Inhale, lift the arms up. Maybe the gaze follows. Exhale to gently release the fingers. Float them down. Good. Interlace the fingers. Inhale to press it out, lift it up. Exhale, gently soften as the arms fall. Let's go 3 more. Maybe you start to get a little more dramatic with the movement, opening the chest up as the arms fall. Option to drop the head back if the neck is ready for it. And then come right back to center. Take a moment, rub the palms on the tops of the thighs. Soften the gaze, soften the shoulders. And then we will make our way to all fours. So bringing your wrists underneath your shoulders and your knees underneath your hips. You're pressing out through the fingertips, lifting the chest away from the shoulders. We're going to extend our right leg back behind us and just begin to find a gentle sway back and forth. So again, getting a nice little stretch through the back of that right leg. Finding some mobility in the right ankle and both of the wrists as we sway back and forth. Then we'll lift the right leg, option to keep those toes grounded if you'd like. Find your breath. Nice gentle gaze. And exhale to bring that knee forward. Move as you need to so that you can plant the right foot in between the hands. Option here, if this is uncomfortable for the knees and you do have your blanket, to bring that blanket underneath, giving it a little more padding. If that's still uncomfortable, you can tuck those back toes and just stay lifted here. So wherever we are in our nice low lunge, that left hand is going to plant on the inside of the right foot, and we're going to inhale. Open the right fingertips towards the sky, finding a nice twist. Think about bringing your belly and your chest into that right inner thigh. And again, find that deep breath. Feel the belly on the leg as you inhale and exhale. And think about keeping the shoulders away from the ears. One more breath in this twist. And then we'll bend the right elbow, bring it onto your right thigh, and swivel the left leg back. So left ankle is in line with the right ankle. From here, we're going to inhale the left arm up to the sky and exhale to bring it over, finding a side body stretch in that left side, and maybe feeling that also in the right inner thigh. Take a few deep breaths here. And slowly release, bringing that left leg back in line with your mat. Hands back down to the ground and bringing the right knee back with the left. We'll do the same thing on the other side. So finding a nice tabletop, pressing out from the hands. Left leg extends back behind us. And we find that gentle sway forward and back. Option to stay right here, or lift that left leg just for a moment. Find some soft stillness in this balance. And on your next exhale, bring the knee towards the chest. Plant that foot between the hands. Take a moment to get situated here if you need that knee under your blanket, your blanket under your knee. Or if you need to be lifted, find something that feels good. And then we'll plant that right hand. Inhale to lift the left and take a few deep breaths in this side twist. Gently start to bring the left elbow down onto the left thigh. Swivel that right leg back. Inhale, lift the right arm up. And exhale, just settle in, maybe reaching that arm forward, finding a nice opening through the right side body. Keeping the chest open so that right arm is back behind the ear. And if that's not comfortable on the shoulder, just keep it reaching to the sky, or it can even stay down by your side. Find some gentle breaths here. And gently return the hands back down, swivel that leg back. And come into your tabletop just for a moment here. And again, we're going to find a child's pose or any other relaxing position. So wherever you need to go, if you're taking that child's pose, send the hips back, arms float forward as you sink back down into your mat. Finding some nice gentle breaths here. And of course, at any moment, you can come out or stay in pose and just take a little sip if you brought your drink. And we'll start to transition into a more restorative yin part of the class. So slowing it down, we'll stay in positions for a few minutes so that the body and the nervous system can settle in and really begin to open and find space in these stretches. So I have some lavender essential oil with me. If you have any scent that you haven't already put on or lit, if you're using incense or candle and you'd like to, you can go ahead and do that now. And if not, we're just staying settled in our child's pose here. staying connected to that breath. Also have the option here, as we settle into this child's pose for about another 2 minutes. Maybe you want to bring that blanket around the shoulders and lay back down. And if the mind begins to wander or thoughts begin to come in, just acknowledging them and letting them be on their way. And seeing if you can soften through the body and through the breath anymore for about 1 more minute here. Nice and gently begin to walk the hands back up to the knees. And we will transition into a pigeon posture. So this is a deep hip opener. If you have any injuries or anything going on with the knees and the hips and you don't need to go as deep today, you can stay in child's pose. Or if it's accessible, we'll bring that right ankle over the left knee and begin to bend the left leg, keeping that right foot active so toes flexed back. Maybe you just stay here breathing as that hip begins to open. And if it's safe and comfortable for you, you can deepen that bend at the left knee. You can even come down onto your back here if that's more comfortable, and breathe holding this. Again, if you can go deeper, maybe interlacing those fingers behind the left thigh. All the time keeping that right foot active. But if you're ready for that deeper hip opener, we'll find a cozy position for a blanket and come onto all fours. Bring it back into that low lunge that we started in, and then walk the right foot over towards that left wrist, dropping it down onto the knee. So wherever you are, right foot is going to stay flexed, keeping that leg a little bit active to protect your joints. If you're in your pigeon, you can stay lifted on the fingertips, or you might begin to walk the hands out and slowly rest, leaning forward. Maybe you stay lifted on the palms, or come down onto the forearms. Eventually you might make your way down to your chest and forehead, but just find something where you can still keep that gentle, deep breath and allow yourself to soften as you create space. And we'll be here for about 2 more minutes. Again, just noticing thoughts as they come and allowing them to be on their way just as they came.
focusing on the sound and the feeling of your breath. Take a couple more deep breaths here. Slowly prepare to come out of your pigeon, wherever variation you're in.
And we'll begin to make our way to a seated tree. So if you were in pigeon, you can just sit back on that right glute and bring the left leg around. If you were reclined on your back in your figure four, you can just roll on up. And we'll bring that right foot to the left inner thigh. Seat it up, rowing through the spine. Inhale to bring the arms up and overhead. And exhale to slow fold forward. Option here to bring that blanket either over the shoulders just to be extra cozy, or under that left knee for a little bit of support as you fall forward, reaching the chest towards the thigh. And once you get there, allow your head to hang heavy, softening through the forehead, through the jaw. Take 3 more slow, deep breaths here into the belly. When you're ready, slowly let your hands help you walk it back up. Find a nice tall spine. We're just going to bring that right knee up so that the foot is planted, and hug the knee into the chest. Going tall in the spine, creating a little bit of compression here. Let the shoulders stay relaxed. And then from here, going into a gentle twist, you can either hug that right knee inside of your left elbow, reaching the right hand back behind you and gazing behind you if that's comfortable for the neck, or keeping a gaze straight ahead. Feeling the belly as you breathe in and out, or for a little bit deeper, bringing the outside of that left arm to the outside of the right leg, and breathing here. Again, remembering to soften through the shoulders, through the skin of the face, keeping a nice tall spine and a soft gaze, or closing down the eyes just for a few more breaths. Next, exhale, allow yourself to come back through center. Get a nice tall spine one more time, and then we'll move back into the other side, repeating that same sequence. So, starting with our pigeon, again, you have a few options here. If there's nothing for the hips today, we'll go into child's pose or any other stretch, restorative posture that you'd like. Or we can find a seated figure four, reclined figure four, bringing our back to the ground. Or if we're ready for that full pigeon, coming into a tabletop, left leg comes through and left foot walks on over so that we can settle onto that left outer thigh. Take a moment to open through the chest, staying lifted. And then when you're ready, finding where you can settle and soften. Wherever you are, remembering that length through the spine, soft shoulders away from the ears, and most importantly, that we're breathing. If the thoughts wandered off, just come back to the sound of the breath. Soften through the skin of the face. Notice any space where there might still be some tension, and send that deep breath towards that area. Exhaling, see if you can release any little bit. Let's take a few soft breaths to gently come out of this pose. Wherever you are, gently making your way to that seated tree, This time, right leg is out nice and long. Left foot is against our right inner thigh. Then you have those options with your blanket to fold it up underneath the knee or wrap it around you, or just lay it over your lap. So inhale, nice tall spine. Option to lift those arms up overhead. And exhale to gently bring our chest towards the leg. And as you settle in, begin to soften and curve through the spine. Notice if you can settle in a little bit deeper after you softened into the pose of definitely settled. Take 3 more intentional breaths and soft shoulders, long spine. And gently walk yourself back up. Bring that left foot to the ground. Knee into the chest. We'll gently wrap the arms around. Finding a nice tall spine. Shoulders far away from the ears. Breathing to lift the crown of the head up a tad bit more. And when you're ready, finding our twist on this side. So again, you can hook the left knee inside of the right arm. Left hand comes behind the back. Or if you'd like to go a little bit deeper, bring the outside of the right arm to the outside of the left leg. Wherever option you're at, just making sure the spine can stay nice and tall. As you inhale to find length, and exhale to maybe deepen that twist. On your next exhale, slowly coming back through center. We'll let both knees now open out wide and soles of the feet come together into our cobblers or butterfly pose. Option here to wrap up in that blanket or fold it up and come seated so that you can elevate the hips a little bit. And then we'll bring the hands to our feet And just take a moment here to rub out the arches, maybe the toes, heels, ankles. Just take a moment to show those feet some love. Notice what it feels like. And then if you want, you can hang out here, giving yourself a little foot massage. Or we can inhale, nice tall chest, spine, and exhale to fold it forward. Once you reach that point where you can't go any deeper, allow the crown of the head and the neck to soften and fold over. You can play around with the arm position here. Just find whatever's comfortable and supportive for you. We'll just be here for about a minute or two. Remembering you can sigh it out whenever you need. Nice deep exhale. One more deep breath here. And on your exhale, walk it back up. Got one more asana before we settle into our final position. Bringing the legs out nice and long. They can stay hip distance apart. Find a nice tall spine. Legs are nice and long. You can find a bend. You can place that blanket under the knees if you'd like. Or again, drape it over the shoulders. Inhale, spine nice and long. And exhale, bring the chest towards the knees. Once you hit that pausing point, just allow yourself to fold fully over. Settling the neck down, forehead comes down. And as again you begin to settle into posture, notice what space you've created that you can sink down into a little bit deeper. gently roll back up just for a moment. And when you're ready, blanket can come over you. Gently roll down the back into our final asana, Shavasana. So legs are out nice and long, feet heavy. Arms can also be out long, palms facing up. But you're welcome here to come into any other posture that feels safe and cozy and restorative. Feel the breath running through your body as you inhale. And softening out as you exhale. We'll lay here for a few moments and I will guide you through a body scan, but you're welcome to just fully be here. If you'd like, bring your attention to the soles of your feet. Notice the feeling of the blanket draped over if it's there, the feeling of air if it's not. Notice the space surrounding your feet. And then draw that awareness up through the shins and the calves. And into the knees. Notice the space surrounding the knees. If you're holding the joints, allow them to release. See if you can bring a deeper softness. Continuing to bring the energy up through the thighs, the hamstrings, into the hips. Notice any sensations here around the hips, the pelvis, and the glutes. Allow your exhale to soften any tension. Move to the low back and low belly. Feeling that expansion as we inhale and that release as we exhale. Now coming into the rib cage. The mid-torso. The energy continues to bring up into the chest and the upper back.
You can settle in a little deeper here. Maybe noticing the feeling of your heartbeat. Or the space that your chest occupies as you inhale, and the space that it leaves as you exhale. Now bringing awareness and attention to the palms of the hands. Noticing the space between the fingers. Coming up into the wrist and the forearms. Gently around the elbows. To the upper arm. And the shoulders. Notice if there's any release on an exhale. Heaviness of the shoulders sinking down into the ground. And we'll travel along the collarbone, up towards the neck. Notice the space holding your neck, lifted away from the ground. And that space around the front of the throat. Coming into the jaw. See if we can soften here. Bringing attention to the lips, noticing if there's any sensation of awareness there. And then into the ears. And finally traveling up to the forehead. Releasing any final tension here in the skin of the face. And around the crown of the head. And if you'd like, you can take a few moments here to bring that awareness back into the full body. Feeling the ground lifted up to support you, and the air filling those spaces in between. Stay here as long as you'd like. Pausing the video until you're ready to come out. When you're ready, gently find any intuitive movement to begin waking up through the body. And we'll eventually bring our hands together, maybe finding a gentle rub of the palms against one another, feeling that heat. Maybe the fingertips got cold. And then bringing the palms of the hands on top of the eyes. Noticing the weight and the warmth there. Gently begin to blink open the eyes. Keeping the gaze soft, we'll remove the palms, bringing them to your heart. And just noticing what you see. A space surrounding you. When you're ready, bend the knees. Allow them to drop to one side. Coming onto the side body. And gently bringing your top arm and then bottom arm to press you up. Come into a comfortable seat just for a moment to rest the shoulders. Let's take a final inhale together. Arms lift up. And exhale, bringing the palms down to center. Thank you for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed this class as much as Leo enjoyed his stick throughout it. Thank you for joining.